As somebody who has talked to so many couples in my counseling sessions, I can tell you that not many couples know each other. Well, they may know of each other, but they do not like really know each other. There are women who don't know who they married. There are men who don't know who they married. You just know that my wife or my husband's name is this, they come from this family, but nothing else. You don't know what keeps them awake at night. You don't know how much it takes for them to pursue their dreams. You don't know the fears they have. You don't know what they have gone through maybe in their childhood. You don't know whether your husband or your wife was abused at some point. You don't know whether they were molested. You don't know anything about them. You just know where they work and how they pay bills and everything. But how many times in marriage do we take time to sit down and do some check-in sessions? I call them check-in sessions. Like maybe it's once in 2 weeks. Sit down. How is everything? How are you doing? How is work? Where are you mentally? How are you emotionally? What am I doing that I need to change? Or what am I doing that I need to keep doing? Many couples do not have these check-in sessions. And before you know it, because there is no solving of issues, everything is just swept under the carpet. There is nothing, there's no connection. It's just routine and duty. It's bills, children, nothing else. And before you know it, there is a lot of emotional distance between the two partners, and that is where you find yourself, you're just like two roommates living in one room, because nobody cares about the other. Nobody is concerned about the other apart from the normal things that you're supposed to do in marriage. Can you take some time, sit down with your person, sit down with your wife, sit down with your husband, get to know them from their heart, get to know what keeps them awake at night, get to know what is going on in their mind, get to know what is their fears. Have you ever asked your husband what is the greatest fear you have as a man? You know, because I've asked so many men this question and they have a lot to say. Have you ever asked your wife what is your greatest fear as a wife or as a mother? Where are you mentally as a parent? You know, Couples need to cultivate friendship, because it's having friendship that will put you in this position. Because sometimes you will not need your husband or your wife, you will need them as a friend. Sometimes you will need them as your counselor. Like, I need to talk to you about something. We have to cultivate friendships, and when we cultivate friendships in our marriages, it becomes easy for us to open up with each other. Because you get to know this person, you get to know why they react the way they react, why they have the kind of mindset that they have, why they do things the way they do things, why they perceive things the way they perceive it. You get to know your person deeply. That is the only way you can get an understanding of the kind of a person that you married. Otherwise, all your traumas, all your wounds, all your unrealistic expectations, they are going to be fighting each other in that marriage. But when you understand each other, you can help each other overcome these things and grow together as a couple, because marriage is sacred. Marriage has no issues. Marriage is not any man's innovation. Marriage came from God, and everything God created is good. So you check yourself as the couple in that marriage. What is my problem? What is your problem? And how can we work together so that we can heal and move on healthy as a family? Have some check-in sessions. They are very important. Get to know your person deeply.